Thank you for joining us on Sunday Interview. I'm your host, Grevazio Zulu. Now, government today is grappling to resolve serious challenges affecting the economy and the people of the country. Some mines are on the brink of closure, the kwacha has depreciated massively, while energy to drive the economy is in short supply. How is government reacting to these problems that threaten to bring the country down to its knees? Will the situation get better, or should people brace themselves for harder times? Who best to answer these questions than the chief government spokesperson, Chishimba Kambwili? Mr. Kambwili is with me in the studio to look at various national issues. Minister, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Grevazio, and good evening, viewers.
I'll start with an issue that is not only close to your heart because you are chief government spokesperson, but because you are a member of parliament in an area, a mining area. We have a lot of challenges with the mines. Over 1,600 jobs are at risk at Baluba mine in Luansha. Hundreds of jobs are at risk at Mopani mine in Mfulira and Kitwe. And we have 133 workers who have been sent on recess by KCM. This picture looks very bleak.
Indeed, it is bleak if it is actualized. But I think by and large, as government, we will not underline, we will not accept any loss of jobs in the mining industry as a result of the power shortage. And as a matter of fact, we have directed LCM at Luansha to rescind its decision and have all the miners back to work. As I speak to you, the Minister of Mines on Friday wrote a letter to Luansha Copper Mines directing them to rescind the decision and have all the employees back at work. Grevazio, some of the reasons that are being advanced by the mines are not genuine. For instance, government has spoken to the CEC to give Luansha Copper Mines back the 30% electricity that they wanted to cut from them. And there's no reason whatsoever why Luansha Copper Mines must continue to have those 1,400 employees sent on recess. And by the way, this issue of power shortage is not peculiar to Zambia alone. You know that this issue has been caused by a partial drought that was experienced. And the water levels in the water bodies, more especially in the southern province, where we anchor our generation of electricity through hydroelectricity, was badly affected. As a result, for ZESCO to survive, they have to do load shedding so that they do not operate the turbines at full capacity in order for them not to run out of water to give us electricity up to the next rain season. This is a calamity that everybody and every well-meaning Zambian must be sympathetic with the people of Zambia and the government of the day.
I want to take you back, Minister, to Luansha Copper Mines over the issue of Baluba. I know your immediate statement was to dismiss this announcement by Luansha Copper Mines as illegal because they didn't follow the procedures. But today, if you read the Sunday Times, the mine has advertised, placed an advert, and they're insisting that they followed all the necessary procedures. So both statements can't be true, yours and the mine statement.
Grevazio, it's a pity that I left the letters that were written by the Director of Mines to Luansha Copper Mines. The Mines and Mineral Development Act is very clear and explicit on how a mine can be put on care and maintenance. When you want to put a mine on care and maintenance, you have to get written consent from the Director of Mines. It is only the Director of Mines that can either say yes or no to a mine being placed on care and maintenance. You remember very well that in 2008, Luansha Copper Mines was threatened again with being placed on care and maintenance. At the time, President was Rupia Banda. And the Director of Mines refused that they could not allow them to place the mine on care and maintenance. They asked the owners of the mine that time, who were J&W, to hand over the mine to the government so that they could look for another equity partner to run the mine. And this is how the owners of Luansha mine got that mine. And they shouldn't forget that they promised when they took over the mine that Luansha will never ever experience a closure of operations again. And therefore, they must stick to their word. But coming to the point, the Director of Mine had written to them. They wrote to the Director of Mine, of course, seeking
which was procedural.
Which was procedural, yes, seeking permission to put the mine on care and maintenance. The Director of Mines wrote to them that they cannot do that. He did not give them consent. And he directed CEC to look at the issue of giving them back the 30% power that was cut. And above all, ZESCO also is importing about 140 megawatts of electricity from a Canadian firm at premium rates. They were also given an option to buy that power, which is at premium rates, to continue the operations.
Minister, this is a very big issue. How come it was being dealt at director level?
As it stands, it's the Director of the Mines. Director of Mines is the only official in government empowered to either give permission or deny permission to put the mine on care and maintenance. There's no any other official who is allowed. Not the permanent secretary, not the minister. The law says the Director of Mines.
And he had no powers to instruct ZESCO or CEC in his capacity as Director of Mines.
No. He had the right to do that through the permanent secretary and the Minister of Energy, who is at the same time the Minister of Mines. So procedure was followed by the Director of Mines.
Is there a conflict here between politics and business? The decision to place the workers on recess is a business decision.
It's a business.
Politics wants the workers
It is a business decision, wants procedure, and the reasons must be convincing. As we stand, the reasons are not convincing. They've got an option to buy premium power. You see, the problem with the investors, they were given so much rebate under the development agreements when the mines were sold to them in 2007, 2008. And they want to be using those tariffs that were provided for under the development agreements to run the mines. But you can see that from 2008 to date, electricity has gone up. And you cannot continue giving the mines those rebates that they were given in 2008, because it would mean that the ordinary people, you and I, will have to subsidize electricity going to the mines. So that's why the Director of Mines refused, because there was an option of buying that premium electricity for them to continue with the operations. So as it stands, I want to repeat, what LCM has done is illegal. And I want to warn Luanshya Copper Mines that they are not above the law. We have options that we can take as government. And one of the options is to suspend their mining license. They are mining at Mulyashi because they are making money at Mulyashi, and they want to close Baluba where they have a lot of employees. So if they don't follow the procedure, there are options for government to evoke. We shall evoke the provisions of the law and suspend their entire mining operation.
Doesn't that amount to intimidation and blackmail?
It's
and
not
private money, private investment.
Excuse me, Grevazio. God was not stupid to put copper under the Zambian soil. He could have put copper in China. He could have put copper in Bangladesh. He came and put copper for the people of Zambia to benefit. So the most important people under these equations are the people of Zambia. Why should they want to make money and be unfair to the people of Zambia that God gave the copper? A loss of 1,600 jobs, Grevazio, is a serious indictment on the people of Zambia, on the government of Zambia, and indeed on the continent of Africa. They want to close the mine when the mine is productive. It doesn't pay. Who is going to benefit? At the same time, even government is going to lose revenue, because government collects taxes from the employees, pay as you, and we collect taxes from the employees. So it's a double-edged sword. And when the reasons are not convincing, we cannot allow such a situation to go on. Luanshya had gone through a similar situation. People used to eat wild fruits. People used to sleep on sweet potatoes. We cannot allow that situation to happen in Zambia unless there is no government. So I want to warn Luanshya Copper Mines, they should not force government to take other measures.
Is there a breakdown in communication, Minister?
There's no breakdown.
You could have sat down with them. We had stories yesterday that they'd shunned the meeting that you
There is no breakdown in communication. I think, in a nutshell, the owners of Luanshya Mine are being a bit arrogant. I am reliably informed that the meeting that was called by the Minister of Labor, which was well publicized. It was in the newspapers that he was going to meet the CEOs of all mining companies, but Luanshya Mines did not go to that meeting. When they were contacted, they said we were not aware about the meeting. Everybody was aware.
They had not been invited
about the meeting. I'm not sure because I've not spoken to the Minister of Labor, but I'm reliably informed that they did not attend the meeting. But I want to tell them there is no room for arrogance. Zambia is not a lawless country. We have got laws, and every investor who comes to Zambia must respect the law of the land.
Isn't it just polite, Minister, that if you're going to invite a person with such a big problem, a partner who's an investor, you would have to write to them and not put it in the newspaper?
I have said, Grevazio, that I'm not sure whether they were written to or whether they were communicated to, unless I speak to the Minister of Labor. But what I only know is the fact that they did not attend the meeting, and that up to now they have not called the employees back to work, despite the fact that even on Friday the minister himself wrote to them to have the employees back at work. That's why I'm saying let them not force us to take other remedial measures. We appeal to them in earnest that rescind the decision.
You've written to them, you've
grave.
spoken to them, they're not responding. So what's the situation on the ground? What's the next step?
I am saying that the Minister of Mines wrote to them on Friday, and we'll wait and see how they react between Friday and tomorrow, Monday, and the next step will be taken. I hope and trust that they will heed to the advice from the Minister and the Director of Mines.
Is the announcement by Glencore to suspend operations at Mopani still a rumor to government? This is the statement we got.
As far as I'm concerned, we've not been written to as government. Up to now, Mopani has not officially written to government. I was only listening today that Mopani has called a meeting of the unions, all unions in the mining industry operating at Mopani, to go for a meeting tomorrow. And I don't know what the topic that they're going to cover as they meet tomorrow with the unions. But as it stands, Glencore has not written to government officially. We've only read it on their website and, of course, from other media houses. But officially, we've not been written to as government.
What is Mopani saying?
I can't know, because I've said they have not written to us.
Minister, is government in control? How come all these things are catching you unawares? These are big developments. Big at Baluba, big at Mopani, worse at Mopani. The numbers of employees at Mopani, that's too huge.
If a company has not written to you, it's speculation. We take it as speculation. If they want to suspend the operations, indeed, they will write to us. So we'll wait for them to write to us. As far as we are concerned, there's nothing going to happen at Mopani until we are written to. Not even the employees at Mopani have been written to. Everybody has just been getting it as a rumor. And I think as far as government is concerned, that is speculation. The position of government is that that is speculation.
If the worst came to the worst, Mopani and Baluba refused to adhere to instructions.
Like I've said, we have got certain measures that we can take. There are measures that can be taken. Mind you, ZCCM holds a golden share in all these mining companies. And going by the golden share, ZCCM can evoke certain provisions which I do not want to disclose. But I can rest assure you that government will not sit idle to see the mining closing. Will take remedial measures to make sure that the operations in the mining industry continue and run smoothly.
Is there a chance that government will probably consider again to review the tax regime in the mining sector?
Not at all.
Just to allow these mines to stabilize in the wake of falling copper prices?
Not at all. That is not even a question. We are not and will never review mining taxes within this fiscal year. That is out of the question.
Not even to save the jobs?
That is out of the question. There's no reason. It has nothing to do with taxes. The jobs have nothing to do with taxes. They are giving the reason of power shortage and fallen copper prices. But you know that such is a business of mining. Mining can be up and down. Sometimes you have good times, sometimes you have bad times. And we expect that when the mining companies are having a good time, they must create a fund where they can you know, put some money aside in case